Welcome everyone to another My Journey, sorry for everyone there who hates the word journey, podcast episode where we're talking about me. We are interviewing myself. Well, we're not interviewing, but we're talking to Tej. Tej talks, literally. So I have had a roller coaster of a property journey so far. Lots of downs, a couple of ups, and actually I've probably had a lot of ups, but I haven't celebrated them enough. And we're going to talk about that because I don't do that. And today, when I'm filming this, I realised some interesting stuff that I've done, and I was like, oh damn, that was really good. But before we do that, I just want to give you an update. So I did a podcast, I think 2 months ago, titled 0 to £975,000 in 6 months. So this is a follow-up. 0 to 1.2 million in 8 months. So I'm a millionaire, I'm not. Okay? My portfolio is worth $1 million plus. And it will drop slightly as some are sold, but that will get replaced as I buy more. But as it stands, the portfolio stands at £1.2 million. This has started off with £40,000 of my own money. So I'm not just some dude like one of these bloggers or one of these like did it for a property company. Like I literally had 40 grand of my own money and everything else has been borrowed. So I have in total raised £440,000 in about 3.5-4 months. I think last time it was 250 in 2 months, I believe it was. Or was it 320? It is possible. It's kind of what I'm trying to say is that, you've followed me hopefully from the beginning. If you haven't, go back and have a listen to, 15 months ago, I think I started the podcast. When I had no properties, no viewings, I was clueless. And you've seen me now progress to a £1.2 million portfolio that when all is let, when all is cash flowing, and obviously things are flipped and blah, 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 it will be bringing in about 300 to 350 per property, and then my SA will hopefully bring in about 500 or 600. So really, that's at the moment it sits at 10 buy-to-lets and 11 buy-to-lets as today and 3 flips. 11 times 300, we do the maths, 3,300. That's pretty decent. It'll probably be a little bit more than that. It'll probably be about 3.5. But once everything's let and tenanted, I now have enough cash flow to do a Tim Ferriss, quit all this, and just go travel the world and eat cool noodles and shit and like meet people in bars and, just do the whole traveling thing for literally the rest of my life, really, give or take. You could, if you could live off minimal means, you could, and it's taken me 8 months. And it'll take a few months now to get the cash flow fully coming in and everything let. But if I can do it, you can do it. And if you can do it, he can do it. And if she can do it, she can do it. And if, my point is, and I want to start this off by saying anyone can do this. I don't care where you're starting or how you're coming from. We're all blessed and we're all disadvantaged in our own ways. So you can do it, is what I want to say. Now, how have I gone from 975 to 1.2 in the past 2 months? Deal flow, really. I've had a refinance come back, which meant that I could go buy some more, spend some more on refurbs. But really, it's been an investor who already loaned me 180 grand, loaning me about £88,000 more. I'm always out here to talk to more investors, so if you're interested, give me a shout. And that meant that I could then buy more houses, which then added up to the portfolio going past $1 million. I mean, yeah, that is as simple as that. I had deals and I had money. I also had a shit ton of stress with very bad previous builders, project management, which has caused issues to this day and caused me many costs that I have to go back and fix these cowboys' work. Little things, using 1 screw when there should be 3, in the door, or totally ruining my very expensive hexagon tiling, not fixing damp work properly, not fixing leaks. I'm not the only person they've done it to. So it's one of these things, as much as I give tips on how to find good builders and this, that and the other, sometimes you slip up. Sometimes they make big mistakes. And it happens. But it's how you learn from it is what matters. Now I have very, very good builders. Everything's stricter and more stringent. And I have a lot more people on site now in terms of friends who are checking in when needed, when required, and helping me out. But, let's narrow it down into the practical steps, right? Because that's what I'm about. I want to show you how have I gone from 0 to 1.2 million in 8 months, and how have I then jumped in the past 2 months. People is the first thing. People are so important. Your network, your friends, your family, your partner, whatever. Your dog, they're not people, but they might as well be. Your solicitor, your broker, everyone in your power team is a vital part of your team. Now, people are going to make or break your business, because they're going to annoy you, irritate you, cock things up, and they're going to piss you off. But at the same time, they're going to do incredible things for you and make your business work and make your business tick. I am nothing without my insurance broker. Shout out to Pinder at Falcon Insurance. Without my mortgage broker, Shazad Ahmed at GPS. Without my solicitors, Insight Law and PCS Legal. Without Together Finance, without all these people, my investors, I am nothing without these people. Yet they will irritate me, naturally. Actually, most of them haven't really. Actually, some of them have never irritated me. But people will. And the same for my builders. None of this is achieved without good builders. Or me managing them and getting in good builders to replace that. So put people first. Put people before profits. And trust me, the profits will way outweigh everything else if you put people first. Especially in today's world, where not every company does that. Secondly, outsourcing is important. I'm not saying I've got a whole VA set up, and listen to my podcast with Jess Leader about VAs, but I've outsourced things like valuations, like viewings. I've got builders doing viewings for me now. I've got people locally doing viewings, whether it's paid, whether it's not. I have outsourced some of my editing when I need it, and some of my social media outreach when I need it. But I haven't outsourced a huge amount. But the physical being on site stuff I have, and I've made it very clear now with builders that when the pictures and videos are clear, that's when you get paid. And that for me is outsourcing. And also, I've completed on 2 properties today. And when you watch this, it'll be probably a few weeks afterwards. But all I did was say, here's where you get the keys. When I got the keys, put a lockbox on, and it was as simple as that. No, it's important to ensure that you are putting people first, but also outsourcing, but making it worth their while. Don't expect someone to do free viewings for you forever. I've always offered from day one. They wouldn't accept it, but now I said, look, no, you're really busy, but I still want to do viewings. How much are you going to charge me? I said I'm not taking, I'll do it for free still as an answer. I said, no, how much are you charging me? Because it's unfair and it's the right thing to do. I think, simply put, I know someone's going to say, it's not about working hard, it's about working efficiently. No, it's not about efficiency, it's about the 5-hour work week. Oh, I don't give a shit. The bottom line is, working your fucking arse off and working hard is what will get you results. You need the hours. As smart as you think you are and as efficient you think you are, you still need the hours. A lot of property time is thinking. It's okay, this refurb's over because of this. How are we going to handle this? This is a deal, but I'm not sure on the comparables. What can I offer? How can we make this a deal? Or, I've been offered this deal, but does it work? Does it not? Where's the cash coming from? Where's this? What's the So much of it is, sometimes I just find myself sitting there thinking or doing stuff or walking around and just thinking and talking out loud. And that takes time because you're making big decisions with your money and investors' money. So you do need the hours, the days, the months, the time. As efficient as you are, you still just need the time. And things happen. I had a down valuation, which we're going to see if we appeal or not. And that knocked my confidence on a deal the next day that if that hadn't happened, I would have probably said yes to straight away. But I didn't. It probably took me 24 hours longer. 24 hours longer in this game can be a lot of time, right? So these things happen, and you often spend a lot of time thinking, making decisions, organizing, as well as finding deals, finding money, and doing the kind of stuff that we're meant to do as property investors. Now, it's hard to kind of grasp that sometimes because you're sitting at your desk and you're like, where's my output? But actually, it is there, but you just don't tangibly necessarily see it like you might if you were on a refurb. So, give yourself the time and work bloody hard. yes, you can be efficient and you can speed things up, but you, especially at the start, still have to work really hard. And that's non-negotiable. If you want success, if you want the Bentley and the dream and the whatever, and the Whole Foods cheese, that shit good. You gotta hustle. And you have to learn to love the process. I think with me, when I first started, I was impatient. Buy-to-lets take a while, like you've seen from my other video, my podcast. But now I love the process. And because I love refurbs, which is most of the process really, conveyancing is just emailing solicitors being like, yo, what's happening? Or not, or just, completing quickly if your solicitors are good. But like refurbs are great, and I love that part of the process. That is my absolute favourite part. When I get a new house or a new deal, I'm not once am I thinking, that's another 300 month cash flow. I do occasionally, I'm like, cool, we're getting there. What I think is, that's a new bathroom, that's a new kitchen, this is a new colour scheme, this is what we're doing. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I love that aspect of it. And therefore I love the process, because that's the most of the process. The conveyancing, the finding tenants, a lot of that is purely outsourced. So I don't necessarily get to feel that part of the process, just sit there patiently and chase people. But learn to love the process, and you'll hate certain elements, you'll love certain elements. Find someone to do it for you. Whether that's an outsourcer, whether that's an employee, whatever. Focus on your strengths, right? But don't just let your weaknesses shrivel up and just, be dead. You still need to be well-rounded, I believe. Another reason that I think I've managed to grow so quickly is probably because I want to. As silly as it sounds, the law of reciprocity and kind of, what you put out in the universe, it gives to you, all that spiritual stuff. I don't necessarily believe in it, but I believe in like karma and just good energy and good vibes. I think because I want to grow this quickly, despite it being absolutely fucking stressful and insanely challenging at some points, I still want to go quick. And therefore, if I want it, I will get it. And it's the same with all of you who are listening and watching. If you want something, you can have it. Go get it. So I think just wanting to grow quick and wanting to scale means I have scaled and I have grown quick. So having that kind of positive, this is what I want, this is what I need mentality is really what will get you it. And you need everything else and the hard work. You can't just wish for it and it'll suddenly appear, and financial freedom on the drive, just unwrap it, delivered by a stork. But it's a big part is believing in yourself and believing in what you're doing and how you're doing it, and then what the end result is going to be. Another reason or another factor is being a stoic or trying to be a stoic. Meditating, staying calm, keeping my ego in check are things I've struggled with and struggle with still, and we all will, it takes time. But I've become increasingly more stoic to the extent that nothing sort of phases me or bothers me. If a builder goes in and says, Ted, you know what? I think your refurb was a little bit low. We're looking at another 4 or 5 grand. I'm just like, okay, tell me what it's for. Okay, cool. Yep, they're all essential works. Yeah, we should be doing these works. We'll do them. Let me put on the spreadsheet. Let me just work it out. Okay. Does this mean now I have to sell it as is on the market and take a 5-10 grand profit? Or does it mean maybe I'll leave him more money? Or most of the times it means carry on as normal. Maybe leaving a little bit more money, but you got a big buffer anyway, Tej, so it's cool. Carry on. But sometimes when it's not like that, I've just been like, cool. Well, here's my options. Here's the one I pick, I think. Let's do it. Which of these options is going to protect my investors and their investment? That's what comes first when you're using investors' money, and I take that option. Simple as that. As opposed to, it's so annoying, why didn't I find out before? Oh, no one told me this. This is, all that ego and all that angst. I need to let go of that. That doesn't help anyone. That does not help anyone. So, being a stoic, focusing on being being on solution focused, not problem focused, will really, really help you grow quickly. I think for me, people have told me they really like these one-on-one sort of personal podcasts where we go into my story. I think, and I always say this, but I haven't worked out a way to get across just how difficult and challenging it's been for me and how much of a struggle it's been mentally. I think like I'm looking at myself right now on the video, and you probably can't see this if you're not on YouTube, but my eyes always look shattered. I'm like the before picture on an advert for like anti-wrinkle cream. You know, like I'm like the lady before who's like, yeah, I had so much bags on my face and I look really tired all the time. And everyone just said, oh, Tej mate, you look 60, but I'm actually 22. I'm the before. And then they do the salmon DNA, the whale poo moisturiser on the eyes, and it comes out fresh. Maybe that highlights how difficult it's been. I don't know, maybe they're just my eyes, but I always look freaking tired. I'm not always tired, but I have been ill a lot. My sinuses just, I don't know, they've just been bad. My throat has been terrible. I'm going to be Tony Robbins soon. I'll be speaking like this, guys. Unleash the power within. Anyways, I have too much fun on these podcasts talking to myself. But like, I've been ill a lot. I've been physically, I've been going to the gym. I've been keeping it up. You know, it's been good. But I haven't been sort of, actually that's actually been going really well. I've been increasing in strength, increasing in size, losing fat, etc. But like mentally, I had a breakdown, you know. Working with the last builders was like one of the most stressful thing I had to deal with was these builders and the absolute mess they left afterwards, and the constant lies. The lies were the worst part. Oh, things are done. I send someone on site. No, they're not. Tej, the house is done. Oh, I go on site and I send 45, no less than 45 pictures of snags. Stuff like this is so stressful, and I try my best to get this across, and I really hope it does get across how stressful it is. Like I just don't know how to, because it's easy to listen to someone like me and say, oh, it's stressful, but then be like, oh, look, you got £1 million portfolio, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and I enjoy the process, and I love what I'm doing, and I'm happy I've come out the other end. But like, I really want to show you, it was fucking stressful. Like I properly broke down. And I said to my fiance, well, is it fiance or fiance? Whichever one it is. I said to her, look, I was like, after it all happened, I was like, has this happened before? Because you handled me quite well, mate. And she was like, you're just a wreck anyway. I was like, thanks a lot, love. But she said, yeah, it happened once back in recruitment many, many years ago, and it wasn't really on this scale. And actually, now I think back, I don't know when I've ever kind of broken down like this. And it was really like upsetting, I guess. And it was really, very angry. And I used to be a very angry person. Like back at, I don't know how many years ago, I used to have anger issues and be quite angry. But now, I'm pretty chilled. I'm very, very chilled. Things don't really, road rage. I got a tiny bit, but firstly, if you use your phone while you're driving at all, please fuck off. Stop listening to my podcast. Stop talking to me. See you later. Secondly, if you film videos while you're driving, off again, okay? It's the same shit. It's stupid. Stop it. If you don't indicate when you're changing lanes, just generally, please, do not listen to me in the car whilst you're not indicating. Sorry. See, road rage. That's the only thing that makes me angry is idiot drivers. Anywho, I'm not an angry person. And hopefully that comes across. Like I feel like I'm pretty chilled. And yeah, it made me very angry, very upset. It put me in a really bad state for like 2 weeks, and they just culminated with this breakdown. And luckily my fiance was there for me to look after me. But it was really tough. I didn't expect it really. I think that the build up of just trying to be so stoic, not having an outlet because the properties are far from where I live, and like the person was just such a compulsive serial liar, and being let down constantly and being told it'll be done in a week. A week comes, it's not done. You're like, shit, what do I do? And actually being scared of finding a new build team. You know, I had the fear that we all had. I was like, shit, let me just get it done with these guys, get it finished, and they can then piss off and kick them off site. But, it didn't happen. And actually since, I found an amazing build team. So shout out Paul Davies for introducing me, sir. You are a gent. And they've been fantastic. Like, really nice guy, get on really well. I've been invited to rugby. I don't know, it's just big men punching each other and shit. I'm sure it'll be fun. So I'll go along at some point and see how they do it. But yeah, it was really tough. It was really, really tough. and I've just been stressed, like really stressed all the time. The wrinkles on my forehead are just too much. I'm not happy. The moisturizer ain't working. I need tips. Please, ladies, give me some tips on how to anti-age myself. It's taken its toll. But what's, I guess, kept me sane has been my relationships with family, with my fiance, with my friends, with the people who listen to the podcast, the love and support that I get from the internet, to put it generally. The cheese people have gifted me. Shout out Russell for that. Shout out Marcus for the cheese. I mean, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of support in this community. And during these tough times, I didn't feel the need to necessarily talk about it with the community, because it just, I don't know. It wasn't me not wanting to talk about it. As you can tell, I'm very, very open. It was just, I don't know. I think I just handled it, obviously not very well, because it broke me. But I came back a lot stronger from that. And ever since then, I'm just back to being a badass, really. No, I'm kidding. I'm just back to being a lot more stoic. But it happens. And the interesting thing is, not once during this whole process have I said or thought, let me just give up. Let me just do a different business or go into a different job, which for me, I'm actually so fucking proud of myself, because in recruitment, which I didn't like, golden handcuffs, I'm locked up. I said that often. I was like, oh, let me just quit this shit. This is really, I want to get rid of it. I don't like it. But in property, I literally have never said it once. And I'll be honest, when I started property, I didn't know if I'd like it. I thought at one point, I'll just build assets, that'll be fine. But now I love it. And I love the challenges. Sometimes it takes that breakdown, right, to realise that the car needs fixing, or you need to change something about your habits, which I've changed my habits to make them more healthier. I'm still working from 10 till 11 most days, 5 days a week. Weekends are off usually. I love it, and some of those hours are doing branding and social media stuff and filming videos like this. So I don't really have a qualm with that. I love it, in fact, and this is not work to me. Apart from the fact that it destroys my throat because these sinuses are just endless. So shout out to, I think it was Hugo who gave me this sinus kit, a link to a sinus kit that really has helped. But it's been very, very stressful, and it is stressful. And actually, Luca asked me, really nice guy actually, asked me at the Baker Street property meet when I was speaking. He said, Tej, you bought all these houses at once. How stressful has it been? He said, out of 10. And I said, you know what, Luca, I think it's been, it's probably been like a safe 200 out of 10. Someone said to me, Tej, you're buying all these properties at once, so you must be learning a lot of lessons like in a short period of time. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I am. I didn't really think about that, But protecting my investors and their investments and my investments is the first priority. So I will do everything I need to. I recently spent $4,000 more on a refurb because it needed a rewire. It didn't need it. It should have had a rewire. And didn't need, but it should have had a new combi system installed. And I said, you know what? I don't want to spend that extra money. Of course I don't. But I said, this is a rental. This is someone's house. I want zero hassle. Here's the money. Let's get it done. And make sure it lasts. Because I'm in it for the long game. And I really genuinely want my tenants to not have a broken down boiler in the middle of winter. To not have a leak. To not have issues. To not have the electrics break. And then try and get a sparky in with a tenant's equipment and everything there. You know what I mean? So it's just changing the thinking to look at it in a different way. And to think about the long game. And that's kind of, I guess, been a really big factor or impact in how I do things.